Here's the thing about being told you're not enough. It doesn't hit you like a punch. A punch is over fast. This is more like a low-grade fever that creeps up your spine over a couple weeks until you realize you can't get out of bed without feeling like you're dying. She sat me down on a Tuesday. October 14th. I remember because we had chili for dinner and she didn't finish hers. That should have been the sign. Laura always finished her chili. "I need to find myself," she said. I laughed. Actually laughed, because we were 34. Who says that at 34? That's something you say when you're 22 and you just finished reading Eat, Pray, Love for the first time, not when you've got a mortgage and a dog and 10 years of marriage under your belt. She didn't laugh back. "I'm serious, Tom. I've been thinking about this for months." Months. She'd been sitting across from me at dinner for months, watching me chew, thinking about how much she wanted to leave. And I was just there, being a husband, asking about her day, rubbing her feet during Netflix. The whole time she was already gone. "I don't think you're holding me back exactly," she said, which is the same thing. "I just think I need to know who I am without you. Without me. As if the last decade had been some kind of hostage situation and not two people choosing each other every single day. I paid the bills, I fixed the garbage disposal. I remembered to buy her favorite coffee creamer even when she didn't ask. But sure, go find yourself. See if yourself remembers to change the furnace filter. The divorce took 4 months, she wanted it quick, no fighting over assets. She didn't even want the house, just her car, her half of the savings, and her freedom. "I'm not trying to hurt you," she said, while signing papers at the lawyer's office. The woman had a pen in her hand, legally separating herself from me, and she said she wasn't trying to hurt me. "That's nice," I said. "Mission accomplished, though." She moved into a studio apartment downtown, sent me a picture of it. Exposed brick, a plant, some minimalistic bullshit that cost way too much. "My fresh start," she texted. I texted back a thumbs up. That was November. I spent Thanksgiving with my brother and his wife. Laura posted a picture of a charcuterie board she made for herself. Just her. 1 glass of wine. The caption said, "Grateful for this journey." The journey. Jesus Christ. By December the posts started getting weird. Still aesthetic, but weird. Long captions about healing and shadow work and emotional availability. I didn't even know what shadow work was. Still don't, really. But apparently she was doing it. Lots of it. In between yoga classes and solo trips to coffee shops where she read books with titles like The Art of Letting Go. I muted her. Not because I was bitter. Okay, I was bitter. But mostly because watching her perform happiness was exhausting, and I had my own stuff to deal with. Here's what nobody tells you about being left. The silence is loudest when you're not expecting it, like 8 p.m. on a Sunday, or coming home to a dark house, or opening the fridge and realizing nobody finished the chili because nobody was there but you. But you adapt. You have to. I started going to the gym, not one of those fancy places, just a grimy 24-hour spot with broken lockers and a guy named Ronnie who bench-pressed while grunting like he was giving birth. I went, because if I stayed home, I'd just sit on the couch and think about how she used to fall asleep on my shoulder during action movies. Ronnie became my unintentional therapist. I'd spot him. He'd spot me. He never asked why I showed up looking like someone kicked my dog. He just said lightweight baby, a lot, and handed me protein bars. I got promoted in February. Regional sales manager. More money, more responsibility, less time to sit around feeling sorry for myself. My boss said congratulations like he meant it. I said thanks and bought myself a steak dinner, by myself, at a restaurant, with a table for one. It wasn't sad. I decided it wasn't sad. I brought a book. I ate slowly. I tipped 30% just because I could, and I realized somewhere between the appetizer and dessert that I was okay. Not great, not happy, but okay. Laura texted me that night, first time, in weeks. "Hey, how are you?" I waited 2 hours to respond. "Good. You?" "I miss you." 3 words. That's all it took to crack something open in my chest. I stared at my phone for 10 minutes, wrote and deleted 8 responses, finally landed on, "That's complicated." She called. I didn't pick up. She called again. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was 47 seconds of her crying. Then she hung up. I listened to it 3 times. Not because I wanted to hear her cry, because I needed to remind myself that she chose this. She packed her bags, she signed the papers, she wanted the exposed brick and the solo charcuterie and the shadow work. Nobody forced her, nobody tricked her. She looked at 10 years of us and decided it wasn't enough. And now she was crying in my voicemail because surprise, surprise, being alone isn't all it's cracked up to be. The regret campaign started in March, full force. Text messages at 11 p.m. Long emails about how she made a mistake, how she thought she needed space but what she really needed was to appreciate me. How the dating scene was a nightmare and nobody understands her like you do. I saved all of them. Not for any vengeful reason. Just to remind myself of the pattern. She didn't miss me in January, she missed me in March. What changed? Probably some guy she dated who didn't put the toilet seat down. Or maybe she realized that finding yourself doesn't pay the bills when your studio apartment's radiator breaks and the landlord doesn't answer his phone. I've changed, she said when she showed up at my door on a rainy Thursday, April 11th. I remember because the dog barked for 5 minutes straight before I even opened the door. She looked different, thinner, darker circles under her eyes. Her hair was longer though. She'd always wanted long hair. I told her it looked nice. I don't deserve that, she said. No, I said, you don't. She wanted to come in. I let her, not because I was weak, because I wanted to see what she'd say. I wanted to hear her actually say it. She sat on the couch, our couch, the one she picked out 6 years ago from that overpriced furniture store. She ran her hand over the cushion like she was reacquainting herself with an old friend. I thought I'd be happier, she said finally. I thought if I just got away from everything familiar I'd find this version of myself that was more authentic, more free. But I'm not happier, I'm lonely, and I'm tired, and I miss you every single day. I didn't say anything. I just stood there by the window, watching the rain. Tom, please, say something. What do you want me to say, Laura? You left, you filed, you told me I wasn't enough, and now you're back because the other side wasn't what you expected. That's not fair. No? Then tell me what's fair. Tell me what's fair about me sitting in this house for 6 months wondering what I did wrong, wondering if I could have been better, wondering if I'd ever feel like a real person again. She started crying, real crying, not the pretty kind, the ugly kind with snot and shaking shoulders. I know I hurt you, I know I was selfish, but I'm telling you I was wrong. I was so wrong about everything. You were never holding me back. I was just scared, scared of being in the same thing forever, scared that I'd wake up at 50 and wonder who I was. So you burned it down instead. Yes, no, I don't know, I want to come home. Those words, I'd imagined hearing them 100 times. In the beginning, I would have sold a kidney to hear them. By month 3, I would have settled for an apology. By month 6, I'd stopped imagining anything at all. But now she was here. Wet hair, puffy eyes, saying exactly what I used to want her to say. And I didn't want it anymore. That's the thing about being discarded. You spend so long trying to survive that eventually you forget you were even trying to survive. You just start living. And living without her had become normal. Good even. I had my gym routine, I had Ronnie and his protein bars. I had a promotion and a steak dinner habit, and a dog who didn't judge me for eating cereal at 10 p.m. I had peace. Laura represented the opposite of peace. She represented the person who looked at our life and said, "This isn't enough." And maybe she was right to feel that way. Maybe she really did need to figure her shit out, but that didn't mean I had to be there when she finished. I'm not a backup plan, I said. She looked up at me, confused. What? I'm not a safety net. I'm not the thing you come back to because the other stuff didn't work out. You made a choice. You chose yourself. And that's fine. That's your right. But you don't get to choose yourself and then choose me again when you get bored of being alone. I'm not bored. I'm in love with you. Were you in love with me in October? Because in October, you looked me in the eyes and told me you needed to find yourself without me. Those were your words. Without me. She wiped her nose with the back of her hand. I was an idiot. Yeah, you were, and I forgave you for that months ago, But forgiving you doesn't mean I owe you another chance, it just means I'm not angry anymore. That's the truth. I'm not angry. I was angry. Furious even. I punched a wall in January and had to explain to my brother why my knuckles were bleeding. I screamed in my car on the highway. I drank too much on a Tuesday and texted her something pathetic that I deleted before she saw it, but the anger burned out, like a fire that runs out of fuel, and what's left now is just clarity. She stood up from the couch, looked around the living room, the new rug I bought, the framed picture of my brother's kids, the dog bed in the corner. None of it was hers anymore. She noticed. I could see it on her face. "You've moved on," she said. "I've moved forward. There's a difference." "Is there someone else?" "No, there's just me, and for the first time in a long time, I'm okay with that." She left. I watched her walk to her car. A Honda Civic she bought after the divorce. Silver. Practical. She stood by the driver's side door for a minute, just looking at the house. Our house. My house now. Then she got in and drove away. I closed the door. Locked it. The dog looked at me with his big, stupid eyes, tail wagging. I scratched his ears. "Just us, buddy," I said. He didn't seem disappointed. Laura still texts sometimes. Random things. A memory. A photo of a restaurant we used to go to. Last week she sent me a picture of the chili I made that Tuesday night. Said she wishes she'd finished it. I don't respond anymore. Not because I'm cruel, because responding would give her hope. And hope isn't what she needs. What she needs is to figure out who she is without me. For real this time. Not as a performance. Not as a social media journey. Just her. I hope she finds it. I really do. But I found mine. And it doesn't include her. The house is quiet at 8 p.m. on Sundays now. The silence doesn't bother me anymore. It's not lonely. It's just quiet. And quiet, I've learned, is a hell of a lot better than being someone's second choice.